Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
Farhan, I've run through 4 episodes. I don't know if have you seen the whole show? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen.
I found this Calvin Hobbes kind of scenario really fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a fan of that genre or what appealed to you.
Who isn't it? No, I mean it's a very modern, contemporary style of storytelling. I'd also like to say I was a failed audition for the voice part. No, I wasn't. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it's refreshing to see new voices, new formats of storytelling, and also just new age issues. You know, dealing with love, dealing with life. In a very like kind of modern setting, in a modern way, and in a very interestingly laid out story. So I like the style of the narrative very, very much. And that was the first thing that actually got me really like kind of like excited. It felt very new. It felt like an individual voice, and that's what I liked very much.
Happy Women's Day, everybody. Wonderful to see you.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Jim sir, what will happen to us poor voiceover artists if you continue doing the excellent job that you did in this particular show? I mean, come on, save some work for us. There's enough on-screen stuff happening for guys like you, man.
You'll suffer.
And that is your aim, isn't it?
Yes.
You nasty piece of work. Good to see you, but excellent job, man. Excellent.
Thank you.
I found out that you were not even on set. You know, I was just very curious to know, and I asked Vihan this, saying that how did he react? Was he played back a tape, or were you there? So I'll just flip the question to you. So did you have somebody else doing the other lines when you were doing your lines? How was it when you were dubbing this?
I was watching the footage and just responding to what he was doing, watching the edited scene that was cut together already. So it was fairly easy. It was like we had a certain amount of time in order to fit the line. And if Rahul and I felt like improvising in the moment, because sometimes he'd throw me an idea or I'd have an idea and I'd try it out. It just had to make sure it fit in that same amount of time and still made sense within the context of the scene. So that was it. It was quite easy and fun. It was a lot of fun, actually.
So was it written with Messer Jim Sarbh in mind, or was it just general lines and then suddenly somebody suggested you get him to do it?
It was not written with Jim Sarbh in mind. It wasn't written with anyone in mind, actually.
Okay.
I don't think when I wrote it, I didn't think this was going to get made, honestly. So I wasn't writing it with anyone in mind for anything. But once it reached the point that we had shot it, Jim came up as a very solid option. And then when we asked him, he was down to do it. So.
And did you give him instructions like Matt Parsi or just be Jim Sarbh? What was it like?
It was mostly just be Jim Sarbh. But also it was like, let's try and be as chaotic as possible within this calm person's head, you know, so that you can see the sort of juxtaposition between the way he is awkwardly reacting to reality and what all he's thinking in his head.
Farhan, I've run through 4 episodes. I don't know if have you seen the whole show? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen.
I found this Calvin Hobbes kind of scenario really fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a fan of that genre or what appealed to you.
Who isn't it? No, I mean it's a very modern, contemporary style of storytelling. I'd also like to say I was a failed audition for the voice part. No, I wasn't. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, it's refreshing to see new voices, new formats of storytelling, and also just new age issues. You know, dealing with love, dealing with life, in a very like kind of modern setting, in a modern way, and in a very interestingly laid out story. So I like the style of the narrative very, very much. And that was the first thing that actually got me really like kind of like excited. It felt very new. It felt like an individual voice, and that's what I liked very much.
Reema, who wrote the line, "Be like a diaper"? I think that's a killer line. It's super.
I think that was me.
You think it was you?
No, it was him.
Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah.
It was Rahul.
Yeah. How much mentoring? I mean, this is a question to both Zoya and Reema. How much mentoring did he really need, or was he just very sorted from the word go?
I think he was very sorted. We did sit a little bit on the script and maybe edit some stuff, but he's really been in control from the word go.
Did he have any questions for you, Zoya? Or did you offer any advice?
Yeah, of course. When we got the scripts, we read the scripts, we had a little back and forth a little bit, but he knew, this is his tale, and he knew it better than anybody. And this is his generation, and he's pretty close to Ray, you know. So we actually would, if we had questions, we knew the answers were coming from there. We weren't the ones really giving the answers. So we just had to sometimes push him for him to naturally, organically reach a point where only he can take the story. And it was a really interesting process. And it was also, I think, very easy for us. Because when you have somebody that is so in control of their narrative, you know that you don't have that much to do, you know. And I mean, what else do you want as producers?
Correct.
Have
You want to take that? I mean, what kind of hand-holding did you get when you needed it?
I actually was very grateful for the fact that I had their back when I needed it. So it felt like I could do things or make decisions knowing that I could potentially ask them, and maybe, you know, they'd support my decisions. And that allowed me to be a little bit more fearless in the way that I was sort of creating it. And yeah, I mean, I always knew that I could call them no matter how busy they are. You could always call them and get an answer, you know, in case there's something. So that was always nice to have, yeah. I think it's more the idea of the backing, you know, in your head than the actual like day-to-day. You didn't need that every day. But knowing that you could have that was very nice to have.
I also like, sorry, Jim, you're
My
saying.
experience of working with him in the dubbing studio, at least, was that he didn't require much hand-holding at all. He knew very, very clearly what he wanted, and would direct more or less exactly that. So
And
that was my experience.
there are some suggestions for improv that you said, I want to do it, and did he shoot it down, or was it all okay?
No, I think we kind of
We always
played around
tried
a lot.
things.
Yeah.
Jim doesn't ask for permission. I mean, like, what makes you think Jim asks? Yeah.
I was just trying to be polite.
Yeah. I think it was a good mix of things. I remember at one point, I think we had about 5 seconds, or maybe 2.5 seconds, or 3 seconds, or something to fit a line in, and he had 8 minutes of content to figure out what to do in that 3 seconds. Because we just both kept playing off of each other. He'd suggest something, then I would have some ideas, then I would keep trying them, and then so he'd be like, okay, now how do I pick the 3 seconds out of this 8 minutes? But he did.
You didn't change the edit. You basically just...
Very rarely change the edit, yeah. Every once in a while it was required because it was in the middle of cuts. But yeah, often we try to stick to, because it, like, in the moment, there's only so much you can think as a character.
True.
So we had to make sure that you can't go on a monologue in your head in the middle of a conversation.
Farhan, I also like the parents and the way it plays out, you know, with Rahul Bose and Sushi's character. Zoya manages to get Rahul Bose to be so irritating on screen. Like in Dil Dhadakne Do, which I don't know if it's phenomenal acting or
I wish Rahul was here. He would be like, yeah, this is method. Don't.
But it's just fabulous, and I'd like you to comment on that. You must have enjoyed that interplay. I mean, there's a beauty of both the husband and wife being on the phone, and this guy puts down his phone and says, "Why are you on the phone?"
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I mean, firstly, just to start with, they've got great chemistry between the two.
Yeah,
of them.
they do. Yeah,
You know, which works really, really well. Also, the scenes are really well written. And I mean, Rahul has great timing here.
Yeah,
you know,
he does.
I mean, of course, we've always seen him more or less doing like dramatic stuff. But like in Dil Dhadakne Do, you know, for example, he had like his moments where he could showcase a certain kind of different timing that we don't usually associate with him. You know, and I think he's got that opportunity again here, you know, to be able to kind of just like let loose and be not the Rahul Bose that everyone kind of perceives him to be. And yeah, just a lot of fun. And again, I mean, I feel like a lot of credit goes to Rahul, who's sitting here, this Rahul, you know, with just the writing and making it like just a lot of fun, even for the actors to like kind of dig their teeth into and have fun with.
So, you know, Reema, when there are introspective pieces, when, you know, you're talking to somebody in your head and things like that, sometimes it can drag, and that has to be sorted out on the edit. I mean, did you have to do that? Did you have to go to an edit and turn around and say,
Not.
No, not
Because,
at
you know,
all,
when
no.
I read it, I think that Wiz ultimately is a figment of Ray's imagination.
Yep.
And when I read it, nothing dragged, you know. I instantly connected to Wiz's character. So, no.
What I also love are the girls who keep coming in and going out, which are various facets of Ray's life. Do you have like a favorite character apart from the principal ones, Zoya? I mean, somebody that you pick out and say is just really cool in the show?
I mean, I like the one I don't want to give it away, but I like the one that eventually in the end you see. I found her really funny. I found that track very funny. But all the girls are different. All of them have their own texture and have their own personality. And in some way, I think they all affect him and shift him to a degree and like move him closer to where he's intended to be at the end. So it's very nice.
I mean, it's a cliched question to ask whether it's an autobiographical piece. I'm sure you put some elements of your life in there. But my question is the platonic friend, or, you know, the ostensibly platonic friend. I don't know what happens after 4 episodes. And we've always had that as guys, you know, that one girl, you know. And I thought the writing of that was really nice because, I mean, it's not even a spoiler, but they try kissing and then, you know, they turn around and say, you know, this is not working and things like that. So how did you approach that one? I mean, sometimes I feel it's easier to write the romantic parts than the so-called platonic parts, you know, because you got to get the writing right.
So I had a female best friend in school, then another one in college, then another one post-college when I returned home. So it was just, I just sort of like used those memories to figure this one out. And it felt like it's always nice to have, because when you're talking about love and when you're talking about it with the guys, it's a whole different, like, it ends up being very it's got a male gaze to it. But then your female best friend will just tell you what is actually going on. And often they have the best advice. So I felt like that was an important sort of, and that's how I got it rather, from my best friends.
And the title was yours from the beginning, or did you have like a working title or whatever?
No, I sat one day and I wrote this down, and I genuinely did not think it would reach this far.
There is no inspiration from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Not really, no. But I think the idea was to sort of make it a title that was as confusing as the character. It's sort of like, I feel like the title is in many ways what the character is. A little bit long, drawn out, and maybe should have stopped talking a little bit earlier, like me right now.
No, man. Jim Sarbh, Eager for Love. Take yourself back to when you were 25. How eager
My
were you
God.
for love?
Let me think, huh?
About 50 years ago?
Yeah. Well,
My
based
question,
on the
eager love.
age of parts I get in Bollywood, yeah, maybe that's true. Actually.
Yeah, but my question, you haven't answered it.
What is it?
How eager were you for love at that age?
At 25?
Yeah.
Not too eager.
No raging hormones or anything of the sort.
I mean, raging hormones, yes, but what do you mean by love in that case?
I mean, you can still be eager for love.
I was.
You can have raging hormones and still be eager for love.
I think it was more I was eager for experience, you know, eager for life, eager for both work and, you know, sex.
Thanks for not putting it subtly.
Sure.
But you know what the show made me do is really take me back to when I was 24, 25. You know, and it's a question you ask yourself: what would you tell your 24 or 25-year-old self? So I'd like all of you to take that, Zoya.
I mean, I would tell myself to like not take it so seriously, and eventually it's all going to work out in the end, you know. And not like at that age, I remember a breakup was like it was a big deal. I would just tell myself to
Make
chill.
mixtapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reema, what would you tell your 24-year-old self?
I'd definitely ask myself to calm down. And like Zoya's saying, everything's going to be okay.
Farhan.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the big learning for everyone. You know, it's true. I mean, all emotions are really heightened, and you don't know how to deal with things really well back then. So I think that I'd agree with them. Just it's okay. That things will be okay. Just take it easy.
He is 25.
No, I thought you're over now.
A little bit older.
What do you tell your one year self?
What are you? You're 26.
I'm 29.
Yeah, so that's 5 years. A lot happens in 5 years. So you can take that.
I would say probably like not don't panic, because I feel like panic is an important part of like life, but manage the amount that you panic about things, because as everyone is saying, like you cannot take life as seriously as you do at that age.
I was trying to look for credits for BGM. So who did your background music?
Is a guy named Siddhant Shirodkar.
Okay.
He's actually a friend of mine. I went to school with him.
Oh, nice.
And he has a band, and the moment I got the show, I asked him, and he basically did it all himself. He didn't even
The
have
score is amazing.
Wow.
I love the score.
I was trying to look through IMDb to look for the score and things like that. So obviously, because you knew him, there was a comfort factor. But did you give him any genre to stick to, like electronic music, rock, whatever, or you just said go, flow with it?
No, I mean, we sort of stuck with the electronic / hip hop zone, not going very overt with it, just sort of sticking with beats that were like felt modern and in the sort of zone of the show. And he sort of did the rest himself. He was very good. He didn't need much hand holding. He was just doing it himself, and I was just impressed by what he was doing and accepting all of it.
Sid has the band, right? Apacos.
Yeah, you're in the music video.
I'm in a music video of one of the band's songs.
You're the music video king.
Yeah, that's true.
You are, man. You're doing so many music videos.
Only 3.
I mean, T-Series hasn't signed you yet.
No,
That's all. Then you're still arriving.
Music video, voiceover market, it's all going.
It's all going. What's happening, Jim Sarbh? The scientist market is also going. It's terrible. I mean, I've interviewed you so many times, so I've never asked you why the company is called Tiger Baby. I mean, it's a lovely title, but please.
Thank you. I think I don't know, I just liked it, and I had a few friends that would call me that as a joke, and I never thought of connecting it. But when we actually formed the company, I love tigers. I mean, it's if I have to choose myself a spirit animal, that's what it would be. So I think it just came from there. And it's Indian, it's strong, it's feline, it's relatable anywhere in the world. It's it's feminine, strong. No?
And even the logo is not overproduced. It's really nice, you guys. I mean, I want to know who Rahul brought the script to first. Was it you, Reema? Was it?
I think, when we were working on Made in Heaven Season 1, the post, Rahul kind of mentioned to me that
Rahul was the DA on Made in Heaven 1. He was Nitya Mehra's DA.
He's still saved in my phone as Rahul DA. Made in
Yeah, he
Heaven.
was the DA, and he had this written there. Yeah.
I think he worked so hard, he ultimately got a promotion. In the
I
credits.
think in the
Yeah,
credits,
he did.
apparently it's different.
Yeah. So at that time, he had, handed in the script to guys at Excel, and I read it, and I just loved it because it was just such a sweet, non-toxic male point of view about love, dating, stuff that I felt was so relevant to somebody of his age, and I feel like there isn't enough dialogue or conversation in our society, at least, about stuff like this. So I really connected to it. And and then Zoya read it, and then all of us worked on it to make it happen.
So I believe this is like the first collab between Tiger Baby and Netflix. Am I right? Yeah?
Yes.
Has Excel done something with...
Excel, Tiger Baby, and Netflix. It's the first collab of all of us.
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
that comment is in order. Farhan, just the collab with Netflix. I mean, there are multiple platforms, but, just how special this one is.
Well, I mean, to start off something with something this special as well makes it even more special. But we have a lot more stuff coming up now with Netflix, that we are developing together. And we look forward to having a really, really good creative relationship going forward. We will talk about in future, about many other things that are happening. But they really have been solid, partners, collaborators on this and various other things that we are putting together. So I'm just absolutely excited, very happy.
Yeah, awesome. I also like Ankur Rathi's part. I mean, just like we've all had this platonic friend thing, we've always had this one guy turn around and say, this is how you score, you're a fool. My question to you is, was there a part that you had great difficulty casting, along with your casting director, obviously, or was everything just very clear in your head?
I don't think anyone was difficult to cast. In fact, I think Ankur was one of the last people to be cast, but I don't think it was because he was the most difficult to cast. I think it was just about creating a friend group that sort of matched each other, and Ray needed to be given first priority. Yeah, I mean, Varun was probably the last person, one of the last people in the primary cast that we cast. So Ankur is probably the answer. But he was great.
And
so.
did you have to do multiple tests and look tests and stuff like that with the newer cast members? I mean, somebody like Rahul and Suchi, they've been around and things.
I mean, I think we did a regular like audition, callback, and then we did a lot of this on Zoom. So it was very interesting because the first time I met Vihan in person, he had already been cast. So I remember going to meet him and wondering, what if he's too tall, or what if he's too short, or something that I would not have thought about on a Zoom call.
And who had decided that casting? I want to know the reason for that. Ladies.
It was a collective decision.
Yeah, we saw
mostly
many rays.
Yeah, it was
many
Rahul's
rays.
call.
He looks sufficiently confused, so it's a great job.
Yeah,
What if he's
he's
only grown till here?
extremely endearing.
Yeah.
The casting of Ray, I think, was very important because he needed to be very endearing. You needed to want to give him a hug, and at the same time, he can't stand out. It was very tricky. So he had to be special. I had to go to him, but he can't pop in a way that so it was tricky, and we saw so many characters, I think. But when his audition came along, I think everybody unanimously knew it was him.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think we'd been through too many not to know when we hit the right one.
Super choice. Okay, last one, since we have to wrap. If you had a wizard in your head, Jim, would he be calm or would he be like the wizard that you have played?
He would not be calm.
Because this guy's pretty hyper, especially when he's thrown around.
Yeah.
And at points he just loses his, yeah.
Sometimes irritating also, a little irritating. But I think that's the point, is that the inner voice is sometimes irritating. It sometimes isn't your friend. It sometimes isn't on your side, even though it wants to be. Or I like the idea of, we discussed it a lot, that it kind of varies between being his id, the id, which is the base, just primal instincts, and also his superego, which is the part that's wiser, that's smarter, that knows things just from being the unconscious, So I guess it would be chaotic. I imagine it would be a bit all over the place.
I'm very impressed. Very Freudian. Id.
Very Freudian.
Sarbh. Very intellectual, my friend. On that note, thanks very much. All the best. I can't wait to see the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Guys. Thank you.
Thank you.